Hello, and welcome to Chit and Chat, a podcast of encouraging. I'm encouraging anyone I can, anywhere I can. I reach out to nonprofits, musicians, comedians, whoever wants to come on board and share about encouragement. Today, we talk to a CEO, a helicopter pilot who loves coffee, Braden Marty, the CEO of Veterans Roasters Coffee today. Great conversation about his business, the Warrior Games, and I pick his brain with some really cool, unique icebreakers that shocked me on some answers. Kick back and relax. This is Chit and Chat. So let's get going. Today I'm honored to have Mr. Braden Marty, the CEO and the coffee guru of Veteran Roasters Coffee. Is that pretty good? A coffee guru? You consider
that's given me a lot more credit than probably I deserve.
I love coffee, period. You know, and especially in the military, I'm glad I have coffee better now than I did in the military. It was like
I do too as well. I'm the same way. I actually didn't get into it until later in my military career. But to me, it's a very kind of calming ritual. I enjoy it a lot more too. I agree with you.
I got a few icebreaker questions for you before we get going talking about Veteran Roasters. One, are you a sports fan?
I am, very much so.
Cool. So the first one, you have any quarterback to start on your team, past or present, what quarterback are you picking?
So I'm originally from Wisconsin, and I
Okay.
grew up. My later kind of teenage years was when the Packers were good in the '90s. So I'm a big Brett Favre fan.
Okay.
So I think I take Brett Favre.
I'm going with Joe Montana for my pick.
Okay.
What's your favorite athlete of all time? You staying with Brett Favre too? Same answer.
My favorite athlete. So another kind of quick personal story. So I was also I went to school at the University of Michigan when Tom Brady was there, and I know everybody. Tom Brady just wins too much, but I have to say I appreciate him and his career just because of my small little personal connection to it,
Okay.
my Michigan connection. So I think I'm going to say Tom Brady, which
Okay.
is hard and probably hard to say from an athlete standpoint, but he's probably certainly one of the most successful.
For me, one of my guys is Ricky Henderson. I love watching him play. Steal bases like no other. He played for the Mariners, I think, a year or two, so I got to actually watch him a little bit.
I was a big A's fan
Yeah.
back in the late '80s, early '90s. They were just fun to watch with the Bash brothers, and obviously he was stealing bases all over the place. So that's a great pick.
So living in Chicago, you can only root for one team: Bulls, Cubs, Sox, the Bears, the Blackhawks. Who you got? You got to decide on one allegiance to one team. Who you gonna go with?
That's super easy. It's the Blackhawks.
All right,
the Blackhawks. They've been the most successful since I've been here, with winning 3 Stanley Cups, and so that's by far that's easy. All the other teams I have favorites in due to my Wisconsin connections. So we don't have an NHL team in Wisconsin, so I would definitely say Blackhawks.
Well, Seattle finally got one. The Kraken, they're not doing
I
too
know.
well, but it's nice to have one now.
Yeah. They'll it's just nice to. It's one of my. I never played it, but it's one of my favorite sports to watch live.
Yeah.
Just so much action.
I've been to one hockey game. It was like a AAA Tacoma. I don't know what they were called at one time, but we watched them play. It was we sat behind the opposing goalie and just razzing the entire time. All right, next question is: I'm giving you a plane ticket to take your wife anywhere in the world. Where are you and the wife going?
Probably. If I say I will say like Tahiti or like Bora Bora, somewhere like over one of those like over the water huts.
Okay.
That you see in those pictures, and just clear blue water.
Water slides. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's one of those.
Yeah, my wife's part Irish and Italian, so I try to get her over there to in that neck of the woods.
To Europe, nice.
Yep. So I'll give you 2 tickets. Last question for icebreakers: 2 tickets to any sporting event in the world. Where are you going with? Super Bowl, 7th game of the World Series, the Army Navy game, being a veteran. What you picking?
The one thing I haven't like really I played soccer when I was young, but I've never been to like a European soccer game. So I
Okay,
almost
yeah.
have to say like a Champions League final or even like a World Cup final,
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
like in South America and Europe. I feel like it's just something very different that I've never experienced. So I'll say that I've been to a couple Army Navy games and they're spectacular in
Nice.
themselves. But yeah, I would say that just because it's so different from our culture, probably.
Awesome. All right. So I did a
You
little
didn't answer
research
that
on you.
question. What's yours?
Uh, I love to do an Army Navy game. Just
Yeah,
to kind of,
you
I
got.
watch it every year. Being a Navy guy, my dad
Yeah,
was an Army guy. He was in Vietnam, so I just try and watch it every year, just because it's not too often you can see a game. These guys are on the battlefield for us, for our freedoms, and so it just gives me chills when the president's there, and just it's not about wins or losses. It's about pride, and I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. I agree. That's it. If you ever get to one, you'll enjoy it. Make sure you go in early and you have the whole march on, and you get the full experience.
I
It's
had
pretty
been
neat.
I had been to Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame. That was my high school gift. I saw a friend of mine, but just a side note, that was one of the best trips I ever been to was Cooperstown. Being a baseball guy.
It's funny you say that. My dad's a huge baseball fan, and he and I went this past summer
Oh
together. We
wow,
did kind of an
nice.
East Coast trip, and his first time he was there is a cool. I don't get into as much as baseball, but he's such a huge baseball fanatic, big
Nice.
Cardinals fan. So
So I did a little research on you. You were a helicopter pilot for what 2002 2013.
I was, yes, in the Navy.
Do you have a call sign or a nickname?
Um, nothing that really stuck. I guess probably the one that stuck the most because of my last name's Marty was McFly.
Okay, okay.
But I didn't. I luckily usually call signs come from doing something stupid, as you're aware, or making some sort of mistake. And so, luckily, I stayed pretty clean through my
Gotcha,
Navy
gotcha.
career.
I was a radioman on board USS Truxton. It was a little missile cruiser for 4 years, and
Okay.
I wasn't sure what I would do when I got out, and I got out, and it is what it is, and it was a career. I did a lot of sea traveling. I did to the Gulf a couple of times in Australia,
Hmm.
so I was in the water more than anything. You were in the air.
Yeah, but I deployed on small boys too. Actually, my first deployment was on a cruiser, CG-52 Bunker Hill. And I did a number on DDGs, frigates, and I even got a carrier deployment as well. So actually, I spent a lot of time on small boys. It was kind of cool. Our helicopter attachment was like the only basically air force to fly off of there. So you kind of were the one and only thing. Once you get to the aircraft carrier, helicopter guys aren't cool anymore because you have all the pointy nose guys shooting off, and so you're kind of a second class citizen at that point. But no, I enjoyed the small boy. It was just nice to your point. It was nice to fly off of it every now and then and get away and kind of do something else. And then, of course, you had to fly back on. But
So I was reading an article. When I say the name Marty Doyle, it rings a bell to you, correct? Mark
Marty
Doyle.
Doyle
Mark Doyle.
or
Excuse me.
Mark Doyle?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Is he
So
the one who
Mark,
got you into coffee?
yeah. So Mark actually, he's the one that really, not necessarily, he's the one that we connected. And I thought he was doing some really interesting things around kind of social enterprise and social impact, specifically focused on veterans. And he had the idea around coffee, um, and didn't really have the capacity at the time to do it, and was looking for kind of some assistance and help after starting an apparel company that was really focused on supporting and helping at-risk veterans kind of reintegrate back into their communities. And so um, he and I both enjoy cups of coffee, particularly with the special kind of donut we have in Chicago. But um, he doesn't like it was kind of more just an idea than anything else. And then as we kind of further ideated around it, knowing that we'd need, obviously a coffee person, someone that knew about sourcing, knew about beans, knew about roasting. We brought a gentleman by the name of Josh Millman on, who owns a coffee company in Chicago, and really helped us um, quickly develop the idea and the business, and then our roasts, and then kind of the rest is history from there.
So, what is your mission or your focus at Veterans Roasters?
It's really it's twofold, and I'll start with, and this is actually, I say twofold because the one wasn't originally kind of the idea, but it certainly has become, I think, what is most appreciated about, what our focus is. But we started really to just provide an opportunity for, we say at risk, but just veterans that struggle after service, right? They come back,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
they don't have the same support system they had in the military. They come back home, they probably think it's going to be one way. You have the ticket tape parade, and you're honored, and they come back and it's not, right. and
Yep.
and
Yep.
quickly, you realize kind of what we'll say, quote unquote, normal life or civilian life is, and how everyone's very disconnected. And a lot of times, be perfectly blunt, people fall on their face, and through no fault of their own, just the lack of support system. And so us, starting veteran roasters was just provide opportunities to help kind of further develop skills that people learned in the military, help develop other skills that then they can use into the civilian sector, whether they stay with us or go somewhere else. So is, you know, have a job that pays a living wage, learn and develop skills that can advance you in your career professionally. And really the last one, which I think is probably the most influential, if you talk to our employees and our team, is there's the community aspect. And that's probably become the most important thing. The idea of, you have this group of people, we're all veterans. We all kind of have immediate trust because we understand and connect through the experience he had, no matter what service we're in. And then how we kind of support each other through our both personal and professional lives, and a lot of times struggles. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's immediately when we bring someone on, you kind of really quickly see the light switch in their eye, and them get excited, the kind of their life force come back. They have they have their team, they have their people, they have their tribe now. And
Yep. Yep.
that's probably the most beneficial thing that we do today, is just kind of create that community and that support system.
Yeah, I was reading an article a while back. There were over, I think, 2019, maybe early 2020. It was like 40,000 homeless veterans out there, and that's just uh, astounding, just mind-boggling that a lot of these veterans don't get support they need. And a lot of guys don't ask for support. They're afraid. They don't know where to start. And
Right.
so I just commend you for having a place. You said a tribe or a family these guys can connect to and really do a restart in their lives. And being in the military and on the battlefield, they were all together, brothers, arm in arm. And so I believe in reading about your company and what you're doing for veterans. And also, you did the Warrior Games I was reading about as well. You helped set that up. Can you tell me a little bit about the Warrior Games?
Yeah, so my last 2 years on active duty, this is what really got me passionate about veteran support, and wounded warrior advocacy. I actually stood up the Navy's Wounded Warrior program in the Midwest region, based out of Chicago. I'm a Midwest guy, and I came back and did my last year on active duty here, and started getting involved in Warrior Games then. But before Veteran Roasters was stood up, I actually led the effort here in Chicago to bring Warrior Games here to this city in 2017. And Warrior Games is a Paralympic competition like you would see in the Olympics. There's 8 different events, both team and individual, and all those that compete are dealing with some sort of injury, wound, illness in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And they're out competing, and they use sport and competition as a way to recover and recuperate. And so it was started in 2010. It was a partnership between the DoD and the U.S. Olympic Committee, and it has grown ever since. And it was phenomenal to see it in Chicago at historical sites like Soldier Field and United Center, and playing on the same grounds that professional athletes are playing on. So that was probably the coolest part of it
You probably
all.
see their eyes light up being on these
Oh yeah,
historic, I would say landmarks, because they are,
yeah,
and Soldier Field, to walk on that, like walking on Green Bay's field, or that just
yeah.
be. and all. I'm in Soldier Field.
Yeah, no, it was the coolest thing. I mean, for me, it was awesome, but it was the first time that it was actually held outside of a military base or
Hmm.
the U.S. Olympic Committee grounds in Colorado Springs. So, a huge, market globally from a media perspective, and you could really tell some great stories and see some great competition. And you mentioned, one of your icebreaker questions, best sporting event. I mean, I think two of the best sporting events I've ever been to were both Warrior Game competitions, wheelchair basketball
Oh
competitions,
wow, yeah, that'd be fun to watch.
between the Army, or excuse me, between the Marines and the Navy teams, and back and forth. I mean, just down to the wire, and just great competitions that were, you know, the atmosphere was almost as good as, a Rose Bowl that I've been lucky enough to go to, or the Super Bowl. That's just how cool it was.
That's cool. I think your company celebrates a fifth birthday pretty soon, right? You started in
It does, yeah.
2017.
Spectacular. It's amazing. We
So
we were coming up to 5 years.
it's flown by. It's kind of slowly gotten there.
Yeah, I would say the first couple of years flew by, and the last two have been really a lot slower and difficult, probably with most businesses, as we've been dealing with the pandemic. And at the heart of it, we're really a wholesale coffee company. We don't have cafes, we don't have any brick and mortar locations to that we're selling and we're brewing our coffee. We work with restaurants, hotels, other hospitality venues, and office vending. And when the pandemic shut all those things down and it's been slow to come back, it really hurt our business. Now we've done a lot more to focus and sell direct to consumers and work in the retail space and things like that. But it's just, yeah, the last 2 years have been a real kind of big struggles, but no different than so many other hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of small businesses all over
Yeah,
not
small
only the
business.
country but the world.
Yep. What do you see yourself, veteran roasters, in 5 to 10 years? You have goal like a dream chart or like some goals you're shooting for?
Yeah, I mean, our goal and our mission um, is to be the largest social impact wholesale coffee company in the country. We're not going to compete with Starbucks. We're not going to compete with Dunkin' Donuts, but we can compete in the industry with and working with partners, and those are partner companies, partner individuals that are looking to make a purchase that not only is a great product, but also something that has an impact daily on people's lives. So that's really our goal. And in that way, and as we go forward, we know kind of through that focus and through that vision, we'll be able to impact hundreds, if not thousands, of veterans' lives from an employment and a community perspective.
Right. What's it like giving a veteran a second chance? I mean, the chance to get back on their feet, and as you said earlier, to get a tribe going. What's it like internally for you to help a veteran, another brother or another sister, who you got armed in, we were with Band of Brothers in, in the military. What's it like for you?
That's by far the best part of the job. Like I mentioned earlier, just hiring someone and kind of and seeing them, engaging them, and looking kind of and hearing their story of where they've been, their military time, and then where they've been since. And then in just a couple of days, as we get them integrated in what we're doing and connecting the people that maybe had a similar experience, and not only in the military but even after the military, and kind of sharing their own stories and connecting. And like I said, that you kind of see that light in their eye again, like they
Right.
they, they get that self-confidence
Yep.
comes back, that kind of just feeling of okay, I'm back. And it's amazing how quickly the spark comes back to that kind of military thought, that hard working attitude, that I have to beg these people to take breaks. That's the funniest part about it. And I'm just like, guys, let's take a break and let's have lunch. Like, but they're just so go go go. They just want to like complete their mission. They're just so happy to be there
Right.
and have
Right.
an opportunity. That is by far the coolest part of
Yeah.
the
Any
job.
veterans have come through your business? You've helped along the way. A rough
Yeah,
count?
so we're at about 16 total. in 5 years. Right before COVID, we actually had 10 employees. Before we sadly had to we got down to one. Luckily, through the COVID times, we were able to raise about $20,000 to help support people through, just to kind of ensure that they're taken care of in terms of shelter and
Oh, that's
food,
awesome.
before unemployment started up for them. But and then we were slowly are waking our back. Right now, we have 5 employees back. But we also have people that have gone on to other jobs, other opportunities. We're a great transition for them. So, but yeah, we're like I said, I enjoy it. If we can help one veteran, that's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. And I
But
just want to
as we
thank
go
you.
forward,
Yeah, I want to thank you for all your efforts in helping veterans. There's so many veterans that are often forgotten, and I truly believe that your company is making a impact in not only Chicago, but I believe around the world to encourage veterans. And I just want to wish you and veterans many successful years and your families. And I just, I've had some of your coffee, and it's outstanding coffee. So I just want to wish you the best in all you do.
well, thanks, Jody. I appreciate you having me on and allowing me to share the story again. And I'm glad you enjoy the coffee, and we'll keep producing it and keep kicking it out, and hope many more people try it.
If someone would like to order a bag, or I know you have hats. I think hats or coffee cups or other
Yeah, we got
items as
hats, we
well.
have mugs, bags of all different sizes. We have shirts and sweatshirts as well. Veteranroasters.com. You can go to, free shipping on everything all the time. And we have a great little starter pack if you want to try all their different roasts. And then once you find something you like, we even have a subscription service where you kind of set it and forget it, and you get your coffee bag, whether you set it every week or once a month. We'll take care of whatever need you have and desire when it comes to coffee and caffeine.
Well, thank you, Braden Marty, CEO of Veteran Roasters Coffee. It's been an honor and a privilege. I've talked to you once or twice through Facebook, but it's an honor to talk to you on the phone. I know you have obligations. Thank you for your time again, and I hope we can stay in touch for future podcasts. And it's been an honor. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jody.
Take
Take
care.
care. All the best.
Yes, sir.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. This episode of Chit and Chat was brought to you by Veteran Roasters Coffee. Each purchase of Veteran Roasters Coffee helps employ one of tens of thousands of U.S. military veterans who have found hardship and difficulty upon transitioning home from service. They promise you the best beans from the best veteran-owned coffee company. Veterans helping veterans one cup at a time. Use the code CHITCHAT25 to receive 25% off your purchase at veteranroasters.com. What a great time we had today with Braden Marty, CEO of Veterans Roasters Coffee. And I just want to say thank you for the many veterans out there who have served and veterans that are still serving in the military. Whatever branch you're in, thank you for your service, your dedication, your sacrifice in defending our freedoms that we hold so dear. And so also thank you for the many men and women who are currently serving in our armed forces. And if you know someone, a veteran, a military serviceman who is serving, reach out to them. They thank you for serving this great country and defending our freedoms that we try and hold so true today. So thank you today for joining us in our podcast. I hope you're back next week. This is Chit and Chat, where we're trying to encourage somebody somewhere. Stay encouraged. Take care. Have a great day.